We are live here.
Welcome back to another special edition of the Hockey National Show, early edition with our co-host directly from the Sunshine State, Coach Frenchy and the house, and we have to go all the way to the West Coast to find Michael Devellano. No.
Good morning, Pierre. That's quite the introduction. Hopefully, I live up to it.
Happy Thursday, happy Thankfully Day. And we are thankful to have all the people inside the chat. I think we have right now 6,532 people. They're all at the door. They are not in yet.
Okay. Well, we'll have to let them in. We know Nicholas is here, and Caden joined us. Bud the Monkey. I thought all these guys were in school. And then Michael Rosenblatt has joined us. And look, we have Hockey Snipe Show 86. He's got a
Michael Rosenblatt? No, you don't know that, but
who's that for?
It's the Panthers.
Oh, the Panthers. There you go. Hockey Snipe Show. Are you from Seattle?
Hockey Snipe. He's a Seattle Kraken fan. School started August 18th for me.
Oh, okay.
Here we go.
So
Well, Michael, he's squeezer guy because during the time he goes to school, he watched the Hockey National Show in the morning.
Oh, good. Well, at least he learned something.
But Michael, I did some search last night and tried to figure out when we start. We start August 25th, 2020, the first show of the Hockey National Show.
Wow, that's crazy.
So the 25th is going to be, which date we are right now? We're the 12th? So it's going to be a Wednesday in 2 weeks. Yeah. So we're going to have a special morning show where we're going to celebrate the 1 year with all this kind of stuff like that. We're going to show to you guys the originally me and my. I don't know if I watched this last night, Michael. It was like, it's terrible. I'm just laughing because it's just terrible what we did. Like, I can understand nobody watching us.
Oh, well.
But you have to start, right, with zero, and we have to start with nothing. But, yeah, no background, no camera. It was like, oh, man, gee. But it's fun to watch this. Right? It's like anything else, right? So it was fun to watch this last night. I watched, we did a video on Kapanen. So I think he got traded Kapanen to the Pittsburgh. So the first original, it was the same day we did that. We talk about this. Anyway, doesn't mention about that one over there. So, but the Monkeys coming to the August, we don't know when they start. But we have Joseph Ferreira in the house today, directly from Elizabeth, New Jersey. New Jersey fans, number one in the house. So.
Awesome. We're excited to have you. All right, Pierre, I know you already talked about this, but earlier this month, I guess, or last month, Bill Zito stole Sam Reinhart from the Buffalo Sabres, essentially for almost nothing.
Yeah. The Edmonton Oilers just signed a defenseman, Slater Coco.
Oh, they did.
For a 2 years contract at $925,000. So I think it's a good pick over there, Michael. I think he's underrated in NHL. He got hurt again last season, but remember when he played for the Chicago Blackhawks? I think he's a good, solid 5 or 6 defenseman at any team in NHL on my book.
He's a good skater. He can play. I mean, he doesn't get you any offense, but he's a good defenseman.
We have another breaking news at this time. It's coming from the Anaheim Ducks, and you'll be surprised to hear this, Michael. The third-round pick for the Ducks, Sasha Pastujov, he's leaving the Notre Dame NCAA to play in OHL.
With who did he get drafted by?
By the Anaheim Ducks.
No, but who did he get drafted by in the O?
I don't know where he's going, but he was playing with the Team USC.
Yeah, he's part of the U.S. development program.
Yeah, and he was signing an agreement to go to Notre Dame.
But he never played at Notre Dame.
No, he was originally going to play to Notre Dame. Now he decided to change and play in the OHL for the upcoming season.
Is there going to be an upcoming season?
Yeah. He's going next season, like 21, 22, he's going to be in OHL.
I'm unclear
And
on
also,
that.
like, this is a steal. He was like, some people put him on the second round earlier.
No, yeah, he's. I mean, it's so hard for the second and third round, but he's not a bad prospect at all. Like he was early in the third, so he dropped a little bit. I think. I mean, he's a Florida kid too, right?
Yep, he was born in Brandon.
Yeah, he's a good prospect. I mean, he did really well in the USHL. I mean, it's fine. I don't know where did he get. I'm trying to find out where he got drafted in the O.
I did not have this one out with me. I can look if you don't look. I can look.
I'm just looking here. So yeah, he never got to play for Notre Dame.
No, he was going to play there. Like many of them, they are going to play in CA next year.
Guelph Storm. So he was a 14th overall pick in 2019 by the Guelph Storm.
Yep.
That's very high for a US-born player.
Would be interesting to see him for sure.
Oh wait, it's 14th round. I'm sorry, that's very low. So that's a pretty good get for Guelph. I think he'll do well. He did very well in the USHL.
He's in the house this morning, guys. Shane Summon in the house, Michael, this morning. By the way, yesterday, Michael, Tap win the quiz last night. After a 3 bad night, he can finally get it. And we didn't get Michael Rosenblatt last night. Rosenblatt, I don't know where he was last night, but he missed the show.
He's probably doing homework, or
I don't know, maybe go public skating or go to movies or something like that. You have to take care about it. You know, Michael, the next 6 days are going to be back in the school. So they enjoy their time right now, for sure. Or maybe it was practice hockey. Who knows?
So that's interesting. I mean, I'm unclear on, is there a season even in the OHL? The OHL has basically said that I think in order to attend camp, players have to be vaccinated. So that's interesting. I think that they're assuming that if everybody's vaccinated, they can play. And then I'm assuming, I think the U.S. border's open, right? I think it's finally opened.
The borders?
Yeah.
They opened yesterday, the 9.
Yeah. So I think the assumption is there will be a season, unlike last year where they canceled everything. Let's see.
Yeah, they have a season right now.
I don't know if they've been now. So our training camp in the WHL starts September 2nd to 5th. So I'm not sure. I haven't heard dates for the OHL, but it'll be interesting. Everett acquired a new goalie yesterday, Pierre.
I'm sorry?
The Everett Silvertips acquired a new goalie yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we got a 20-year-old goalie from Kelowna. So we're pretty excited about that. That should help us in the upcoming season because we have pretty young goalies otherwise. Because we're losing Dustin Wolf to the AHL, so that doesn't always help. But we got a 2001 goalie. Then I closed YouTube for like 5 minutes, and when I opened again, it was 10:30. Oh boy! So he just
that's late. We have a rule, Michael. Now we start at 10 every night. That's the new rule on the Frenchy, and then we have 1 minute to answer each one of them. So a lot of people last night, Michael, like not a lot of people, but the people come to the quiz. Like about like 14 people participate last night.
Oh, good. That's great. I think it's a fun thing. I think people enjoy it. They learn a little bit about hockey and they get to compete a little bit. So that's all good.
Yep.
So, this one just continues to perplex me. The guy had 25 goals in 54 games. They didn't really get much from Buffalo. This is a second overall draft pick, Pierre, and he's turned out like he's a 60-point player. And in I think his numbers will probably drop back to normal, and who knows? He's playing with Barkov now. But he played with Eichel before, so he had a pretty good line mate. So I don't know. I think it's kind of weird for me that they didn't get anything for it, just a bad trade. And Florida gets him for a very reasonable number. Like this is exactly the number that we would have wanted to see him signed at 6.5.
Yeah, it was a number. I just make a video. It's going to be live this afternoon about the situation of Florida Panthers. Talk about the work of already gave the manager trophy, the best manager of the year for next year, already gave to Bill Zito. So don't try to give this to Lamariello. It's Bill Zito got it right now. So listen, he got first of all, we have to go back what you just said for the trade he made to get Sam Reinhart. He gave a 7th-round pick goaltender. I expect what he did, Levy and Junior, but again, he played on the NCAA. He did not prove any yet, and he's going to be a great goaltender in NHL yet. So you cannot count on that one. So it's going to be, you know what I mean? Like if you talk about a prospect, 2nd round, 1st round, 3rd round, you expect a little bit better. For that moment, for me, Levy, it's not that. Then they gave what? A 1st or 2nd round pick?
They gave a 1st, but it's going to be a late 1st.
Yeah, it's going to be a late 1st. So for me, they Kevin Adam for the what?
Terrible.
What bring Bennett Reinhart? I think he should ask another player, another prospect, or a better prospect at Levy to get Reinhart. I think that would be something because I think some manager, Michael, and NHL look each other and said, "What the F he did again, Adams? If I knew this, I would give a better players what he got." Right?
It makes no sense.
And then, you know, Sam Reinhart, he was a 2nd overall pick, 2014 by the Buffalo Sabres. The last 4 years, Michael, he have 94 goals in NHL, 25, 22, 22, and 25. He have also with the 94 goals. We talk about the productivity, Michael, of 29 goals on power play.
I know.
So,
like, I don't get it, Pierre. This is
90-minute, Michael, over TOI last season, and 18-minute average during his 6-7 year in NHL. So the kids right now, Michael, I predict this year a season of 25 goals with about 20 assists for 45, and I would not be surprised he reached 55 points with the Florida Panthers. And Joel Kelvin is laughing.
I think Reinhart will do. I think he'll do more because Reinhart's more of a pass-first player, Pierre.
My only concern, Michael, is this part. I'm not sure he's going to make the 1st unit.
Oh, I'd be surprised if he doesn't. I mean, I think he's shown he can play with a top centerman.
But because usually it's Patrick Orvis is there.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe, but even if he
play Orvis with Barkov, and they play also Huberdeau on this, they have also before what he was Yandel and Ekblad, and then they shift. You know, Ekblad they lost, they put Yandel, so it will be maybe a 1-4. The 1-4 depends what he bring, or usually on the top over there. But usually Kevin he is over there too with them. So I don't know they would bring Bennett Reinhart with that part over there.
I think he plays top line. I mean, I just don't see him not. I can see where Hornqvist might, but you know, he's got the ability to get 60, 65 points with in normal.
Because the problem going to get, Michael, is like Orvis go in front of the net. And that's what they make a lot of goal for Orvis. He's right there screening the net, and Ben Reinhart is not the kind that I play what Orvis does, and Barkov or Verdeau don't go there. That's what I'm a little bit concerned about that part over there. That would be really where I would be curious about that. I'm not saying they were happening, but I just said it would be. Now, the 2nd unit would be good. Usually, when you have a PP1, Michael, is about 90 seconds, only 30, 35 seconds. So, can they shift him? I don't know. I just mentioned this way. They can put him there and then Varvey out. That could be another possibility over there. But, you know, that's something they have to figure out. But it's a great problem when you have that kind of the situation over there.
He is for sure their number 1 right winger at this point. Like, if they play him on the 2nd line, that's a choice. But I don't see Joel Quenneville doing that. I guess it depends. Like, you know, if you're going to put Carter Verhaeghe with Barkov, I think Verhaeghe and Reinhart will be paired up regardless of who the center is, because I think Verhaeghe's like going to be a puck retrieval front of the net guy, and I don't think you put Hornqvist and Verhaeghe on the same line. So I could see Huberdeau and Hornqvist being paired up, and maybe that's with Barkov. And you're right, on the power play, you're going to want Hornqvist in front of the net probably. But I would think you would put Reinhart on his off wing. You put him on the left side with a right shot. And he's a very good playmaker. Like, he is a pass first player. He can shoot the puck, not like an elite shot, but he is a good shooter. He's accurate, but he can really, you know, be a
I don't see Claire on the 2nd line. You're going to be Orvis up over there. And then because right now it's not right, Claire will be on the 3rd line over there. They're going to move up.
I think that's what'll happen.
And then I'm not sure if London is going to make it or not, but if not, they will maybe shifting one of the 3 Vanadro in the middle, and then Orvis on the top, and then Tupet go to the left over there. Also, I check about this. You have a chance, Michael, to jump on the cap friendly. I think that'll be interesting to see that because the situation of the Panthers guy is, I think, Bottom Monkey talk about $1.3 million. But here's don't move here because this is really important right now. Michael, they have a roster 25, so they have to cut 2 at some point. So they will save them at least another $1.5 million. That give them right now 2.8. And the player is going to be out for me, Zach Talpe.
Yeah,
at 750. And then if you go lower, they have a third goalie over there right now. So the third goalie is at 7.25. He can go a little bit lower.
Will not be in the NHL.
I'm sorry again?
Christopher Gibson will not be in the NHL.
No, not exactly. That's a good goalie. Came from Tampa Bay. Over there, they're going to go. So that saved them 1.5. Now, the problem they get on that one over there, where they have to figure out, that's not including if you go lower, Lundell is not there. Teresenko is not there. Eponiemi is not on the roster over there. If they move over there, now they have to cut another forward and the top over there. That's not that the money is not going to show. It'll be interesting what happening with Laminko, Lambert, or Marchman, or Lea Starinen at some point. So I just want to mention this part over there because I know yesterday Bottom Monkey said 1.3. Then I just make the video, so I know exactly all the number right now. I go deeply about Zito, but that's the situation about that one over there for the Panthers. So I just want to sharing everything. Enotap is in the house, Michael. Good morning, Enotap. We have also Mr. I don't know. I saw some other Rusty Spooner is in the house directly from the New York Islanders, Michael. Number 1 fans of New York Islanders in the house this morning. So that's what's happening about that. I don't know. I don't see a Tippett on the second line, be honest with you, but I would see him very well on the second unit power play like usually he does.
Yeah, I think they have a lot of options. They're definitely in a beneficial situation because of the Huberdeau and Barkov contracts. So those contracts,
and the NHL, Michael. It's funny you talk about this. I will give you this information right there for the NHL at that moment, Michael. The Panthers are the number 7, not number 9, I believe. Oh my God, I lost them now. They make a the best contract, everything like that, right? And the Panthers are the Panthers, Michael, are the numbers. They are number 2 in NHL.
Yeah.
About the cost per win and the surplus value probability of the salary. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's the way they calculate is the money they make and the goal they score. And the Panthers right now, they are number 2 in NHL. It was 8 last season. So I'll give you an idea about that one. It's not including Sergei Popovsky because he's only the players that are there. But just give you an idea of the salary cap of the Panthers are really, really good at that moment. Because usually, Huberdeau and Barkov is going to reach $9.5 million the next couple of years.
Yeah, easy. So I mean,
I think they will sit with them, Michael. They would listen. Look what happening with the Tampa Bay. Look Kucherov. Look Stamkos. Look Brandon Point. And if you like to play in Florida, the tax, everything like that. And I think I would not be surprised if Barkov sign the next couple of weeks on an 8-year contract at $9.5 million, Michael. I can see this coming very, very, very closely.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously he's going to get the next contract, and then Huberdeau will be next year some point. But I think, in the meantime, like, strike while the iron's hot. Like, this just shows the cost of putting these big $10 million contracts on your lineup. Like, I don't think that you can have the depth and the options that a team like this has. So I think you look at a Toronto lineup, when we look at their cap situation, you'd be like, this is a mess because of this. You're constantly making compromises. You're shuffling pieces in and out, and you don't get to bond into your culture. So I think this is like a great job Bill Zito's done. You got to give a lot of credit to Dale Talon too, because a lot of these contracts came from him. the Bobrovsky contract aside, and that's, I think that at least with Panthers, we're going to take a look at that actually in a second, but absolutely Florida is like miles ahead of them in my opinion.
Do you have a couple of questions with something like that to talk about this? I'm not worried, me, Michael, when they change the line. I think
Right.
Guy Boucher was a great analysis about this, Michael. So you know what? It's like anything, like a goaltender or anybody, or a quarterback or a pitcher, Michael. So some night player does not have it. They struggle. It's happened to the best player. So when you see this after maybe 20 minutes, 30, 45, 40 minutes, it would be great to bring someone down and then put him on the bench a couple of minutes and bring someone else. They don't have it. That's part of the game. I think that's a great thing about that. And then another upset, how do you compare the Leaf with the Panthers? Would they have a better shot at the Cup? I'll be honest with you, at this morning,
Leafs are not even.
I see the Panthers.
Yeah, the Panthers are way ahead of everybody right now. I think that they've, to me, have even pulled ahead of Colorado in some ways. I think Colorado really is going to be dependent upon Darcy Kuemper being healthy. If he's healthy, then you've got an elite goalie. But that's a big question mark. And I think Kadri is still a problem. I think that's a piece that you can't trust. So I don't know. That could wipe out your whole second line.
First of all, we welcome Michael for the first time in the house this morning. We welcome him. Mr. Brayson, welcome aboard. Oh, it's a VLR. Maybe he changed the name. So maybe he changed the name for Brayson to VLR. Like, but we'll welcome him anyway. And excited to watch the Panthers game just for Sam Bennett. Absolutely right. But again, you can watch Barkov, you can watch Reinhart, you can watch Huberdeau and Eric Edblad and Spencer Knight. I will go to game every night to watching them for sure. Toronto have a Leaf that had no depth. I'm not agree with that part over there.
I don't think so, but they're soft. I don't like the. Well, I mean, let's go to that because I think what we wanted to talk about today was which general managers have done a better job. So since we're kind of talking about it, all right. So if we look at the cap situation right now, they're at 0. They're always at 0. They're over. I mean, they're over the number, but they'll be under this. They're a master at moving money around. And the thing to keep in mind is if you look at the Forbes list, Pierre, the cap makes them money. So it's not a cash problem because this team makes like $40 million a year, $60 million a year that we know of. Okay, but if you just look at just the cap situation, this is what kind of, to me, hurts them long term. We've seen they've made moves where they moved out Kapanen, they moved out Johansson. Maybe they accurately projected what those players were, and they weren't worth the $3-4 million that they were going to get paid. You're paying 11.6 for Austin Matthews, who's won nothing, not even won a playoff round. John Tavares has won nothing, barely has been in the playoffs in his career, and he's 11 million. And then Mitch Marner's won nothing, and he's 10.9. You've got this looming thing down here, and people complained about the Nylander contract, but right now he's looking like he's accurate, like he's paid.
The problem is, for me, is like what Kyle Dubas did for, and he's a job, Michael. I think like he did like the beginning. He came bring at what it was odd situation because he had that moment at first year. Michael, is it the first year you have to sign Marner?
Yeah, he signed all these guys to these contracts. It wasn't Lou Lamoriello. So Lou Lamoriello was there for 3 years, and then when he took over, he signed Tavares, he signed Matthews and Marner. And I think he signed Nylander too. So the Nylander contract is looking pretty good right now. Like if you compare Nylander to Sam Reinhart, you say, well, Nylander's got probably similar production, similar weaknesses, but they're probably similar number, right? And actually the cap number is higher than the actual salary. So it's the cap number 6.9, but the salary is something like 5.6 or something around there. It's a weird structure. So that's actually a pretty decent contract. You've got this looming thing, though, with Morgan Riley, where this guy's going to be a UFA. And this is by far their best defenseman. Jake Muzzin's not young. TJ Brody's not young. Even Justin Hall's not young. So this is the guy that you need to sign. So at some point, they've got to deal with this. They got a really good deal in Travis Dermott, and they got a young guy in Rasmus Sandin coming up. I don't like the goaltending situation. I don't think they've improved the goaltending situation. It's just a weird situation. I don't know. So I think that for me, that's the biggest thing. Now, whereas Kyle Dubas done a very good job is drafting. Like, I think that overall, if you look at how late they pick and where they get talent, they're getting good talent. So let's just take a look at their draft history here. When did Lou go over to the Islanders? Is it 3 years or 4 years now?
So again?
When did Lou go to the Islanders? Is it 3 years now? Let's take a look. So Lou Lamoriello, let's see. 2018. So it's been 3 years is when Lou Lamoriello left the Toronto Maple Leafs and went to the New York Islanders. So if you look at the draft history, he's done pretty well. Like, Rasmus Sandin is legitimately probably going to be a top 3 defenseman at some point in the NHL. So to get him at 29th is pretty good. He's gone heavily OHL because that's where he comes from and that's what he knows. Nick Robertson, for where he's picked in the second round, like, they traded away a first-round pick. Nick Robertson is definitely a first-round talent, and he's definitely capable. And then Mikko Kokkonen, he probably will play at some point. Abramov is a pretty good prospect. And then you go here, and they got Amirov, looks like a steal at 15. He's very talented. Hirvonen is kind of like a prototypical Finnish guy, two-way player, gritty. And then they got Topi Niemela, and we saw him at the World Juniors, and he is excellent. Like, they really kind of stole this guy in the third round. So if you look at those players, like, they have legitimate guys, and they've been able to move pieces because he had other talent that they stocked in the AHL, and that's what's allowed him to bring in more experienced players like Muzzin, and he made the Nick, Foligno deal. So he keeps trading the first, but he's not too worried because he still has really good prospects. And then they draft this guy, Matthew Knees. I don't know if you've ever seen Matthew Knees play, Pierre. He's
to get him at the second round, like number 57, is a steal because he was really supposed to be at 35. Voigt is another good pick at 153, but they have only 3 picks. But the problem is, like, when you get like that kind of team like Toronto, you don't pick 15 2 years ago because he got eliminated because of the bubble situation. Otherwise, it'll be hard for them. And they trade the first round pick in 2019. So they don't go from the prospect area. They focus on trade and to pick they patch the hole. That's the problem they have. Kyle Dubas play his season next season. So that's what's really happening there. They cannot to go out again for 4 years straight right now at the first round. They have to get out quick. They have to go through the second round. It will not be acceptable. And Toronto is going to lose his job if he don't go through the first round. And that could be really important. They're still missing a big left wing. I don't think so. They have fixed that problem on my book over there. The defenseman 5 and 6 is not strong, and the goaltender is a big interrogation problem over there. We don't know if Jack Campbell can make it as he did what he did last season. Can he again? If he play that level, I think the backup number 2, Emre Cech, is great to get that part over there. But they don't have the second left wing over there. They expect a lot from Nick Ritchie for sure. They be a little bit like Hyman, so it'll be interesting about that one over there. And they play, and the bottom 6 is not great. To be honest with you, this is a team is going to be, and again, find a way to make the playoff, but not to go to dominate like they was supposed to dominate with their expectation. It's a team of 4 forward. That's pretty much what they have.
I mean, listen, David Kampf is an experienced NHL centerman. He's not a number 2. Jason Spezza had a very good year, but I think that those numbers are inflated a little bit by being in the bubble. I think the travel inside of Canada was very helpful, and playing against the Canadian teams was really helping him. I like Wayne Simmons, but Wayne Simmons is not the Wayne Simmons of 5 years ago. Kerfoot, if Kerfoot's on your second line, I'm a little worried. I like Michael Bunting, but Michael Bunting can score. I think that he's a bit of a – you're going to find that he's got defensive lapses, and they don't seem to care about that, Pierre. And I think that's what kills him in the playoffs. Like they're up 3-1 against Montreal, and then they lose because their top players can't score. But then, you know, you got Galchenyuk on the left side, and it's like a black hole over there. You're losing puck battles all over the place.
Well, I think on that lineup right now, he's missing two players for me. Missing Brooks, where he have a great year overall as a rookie. And I think Nick Robertson can surprise Michael at some point as a forward also over there. So we'll be interesting what is going to happen. I think Gorford is going to be back on the third line as a center and push back Calf down. But they can space us. So one of the six right now you see on the list going to be out of the lineup at some point.
Did you see the new Leafs documentary on Amazon Prime comes out October 1? Why is anyone?
Yeah, All or Nothing. That's a funny thing they call it. They call the movie like All, or the documentary is called All or Nothing. That's refer about that part over there. So there was a big conversation yesterday in Canada about that one over there for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is like the Toronto Maple Leafs get excited when they made the third round of the playoffs in 1993, and they released a DVD called The Passion and the Glory. Like, what, you have a passion for losing? Like,
yeah, it's something, you know, it'll be interesting to see that for sure. Should Colin is disappointed. They will miss Hyman. Yeah, definitely they're going to miss Hyman. And the flip side, I can't wait to see Hyman with McDavid, everything like that for sure.
I think that'll definitely help Edmonton. Nick Ritchie is not Hyman. Like, he does not have the quickness. He can score and he's a big body, but I don't, if you're counting on Nick Ritchie to do your puck retrieval, I think that's a problem, Pierre.
Well, Ritchie is going to get this part over there. The problem with Ritchie for me is going to score 20 goals next year with that line.
He will, but like, you know, again, what Hyman did was he's on every puck. He's in front of the net. He's doing.
Of course.
And that's not Nick Ritchie, I don't think. Like, Nick Ritchie does not have the quickness to do that job.
Well, it's not an upgrade there. It's you're not a great right there. It's not a square. It's not a square. You down on that one is a downside to get Ritchie versus Hyman on my book for sure.
I think Toronto and Florida are closer than you might think. Better demon, equal scoring power, and goalies are similar. I don't think I agree with that. I think the goaltending in Florida is definitely better. The Leafs defense is pretty good, Pierre. Like, I don't question the D. Like, I really like Muzzin and Brody. I like Hall. I like Dermott.
The top four is solid. The bottom after that, Dermott and Sonny Michael is two young players, 24 years old, 23 years old. They miss experience, but it's good to have a two pair like that at the bottom like this. I like this how they fix it. It's a good overall six. I believe in my book there's 6D overall, a little bit better to the Florida Panthers.
Maybe, yeah, because I think Sandin is capable of being a top 3. And then Dermott's definitely I think he's capable of being a number 4 in most teams.
Well, they are not ready yet. Sandin, he make a lot of mistakes. He's not ready to be a top 4 yet now. He make a lot of mistakes in Montreal in the playoff. He struggled a lot, but he's a great puck mover. He's going to be great in NHL. It's not going to be a Morgan Riley, but if Riley leave one day, I think he's going to be a top. He's definitely going to be a top, a second pair defenseman the next 2 years in NHL for sure.
Yeah, I don't dislike it, but the goaltending to me, Pierre, is not great.
Yes, you know, Michael, both of them have an amazing year last year. Campbell have an amazing, great year. He's 17-2-1 or some 2-3, I don't know.
Even on a big
and Mrazek have his best year in NHL with a 2.12 and have like 3 shutout and 12 game on that. Now, that's not show 35 game, 40 game where he's going to become a 2.60 or 2.70 overall, where Campbell can become a goaltender number 1, where usually carry on the load at 50 game, 45, 50 game, right? The good thing about NHL now, Michael, is it's getting more in duo and not only one goalie, one goaltender anymore. We're not going to see a lot of goaltender anymore. Alibak, Vasilevsky, maybe, right? You're going to maybe carry on like 60 game, but not many, maybe 5 in the NHL. So the rest of the team, Michael, have to have 2 goaltender. A goaltender number 2 have a solid for sure. I think they are good as a duo. Can they perform they was last year? I don't think so. So for me, they will give a little bit more goal this year, goal against. but I think they are good enough to perform
We're gonna find out.
a long
I mean,
run, but not like they did last season. But
who are the final four?
it's
Pierre?
it's not a worry, but it's a little bit of concern about how they're
It's a
going to
concern.
react.
Of course, because like if you don't have elite goaltending, you're not going anywhere in the playoffs. And we saw that this year. All the teams that won had great goaltending, and it wasn't by a duo. So they can get to the playoffs with a duo, but in the playoffs, a duo is not going to work. And that's why
I know. When you go to playoff, you have to go with your best number. So that's my point. I don't know how they're going to react over there. Campbell struggled game number 5, 6, 7 against Toronto. And Emre he does not play, but he played the last 2 games again, Tampa Bay. But again, overall, will be interesting. That's something. I think for me, to not keep Anderson at 4.5 is a mistake.
Yeah, I think it was a mistake. Good morning to John Grega. Thank you for joining
John
us.
Grega in the house, Michael, directly from Boston, Massachusetts.
So there's a couple comments. One was, Matthias Ekholm, if he goes to Florida, that's like the big missing piece. If you have that type of defenseman to plug your top 3, that helps Florida, I think, get over the top.
Michael, I would compare this one like this way. And I think I'm right. Sometimes I'm wrong a lot, but I think I'm right on that one. What my comparison is this way. The Tampa Bay Lightning win last year, Michael, when they trade for David Savard. So they bring David Savard to satisfy their defense over there. And that was the move to do for them to win the Stanley Cup. It's the same with Matthias Ekholm. Because with Luke Chen all year, all playoff, you're not going to play the same level they did without David Savard.
Yep.
So you patch the really a good. Their 60, Michael, can be the top 4 at any level and any place and any shot. So my point to you is not that I'm not comparing like David because of David Savard. My point is that the action of Brisebois did to pick up David Savard make Tampa better to win the Stanley Cup. Does it make sense? Not because of Savard, it's because of the action or the trade they get. For me, that's the same way when you talk about Matthias Ekholm. You get someone and upgrade your defensive, and you may have a better chance to win. So for me, watch Bill Zito at the trade deadline, and 2 names. Your first one, it come from you, Giordano, and my second names come from me, Ekholm. 2 defensemen over there. I was wake up this morning as a GM for Florida. When I see this, I would pick up Jason Demers at $1 million, and that upgrade right now by defensive right away. It's better for what they have at that moment as defense number 5. Because right now, number 6, Michael, is Kudus. Put them as a Kudus guy at the 5 and 6. They already better right now this morning.
Yeah, I mean, this is not perfect, but I think that a player like Ekholm is a missing piece, right? If you can bring in an Ekholm or a Giordano, to your point, this is really their only weakness, in my opinion. So I think that's the thing that you want to try to upgrade a little bit. I like Forsling. I like what all these guys do.
Well, right now at that moment, Forsling is second pair with Motor, and Nizivara is a third pair with Kudus with it. But I really believe me, the physicality a little bit more of the experience, everything like that. I would prefer to have Jason Demers, Michael, at Nizivara as a player at that moment. You talk about a 33 years old, been in the NHL for about 13, 14, 15 years. I think that would be helping them a lot.
I mean, if you can figure out how to get this guy in Florida without, give up prospects and a pick or whatever, or one of those lower ND and upgrade the spot.
But Michael, at the point they are, right? Where they are right now, and the point they're going to be at a trade deadline. When you think you can win the Stanley Cup, that's why you're chasing a guy like him.
Right. Exactly. You don't do it. You could do it now, but I think definitely you get it when it's cheaper because you're burning off salary and he's going to be a free agent. So the value will be a little bit less because you don't know if he's going to stay. And then I think Giordano is very capable. He's an incredible athlete. He keeps in shape, but he is older. I think Ekholm has got the ability where you could bring him in and then sign him. I mean, I think he'd rather be in a winning situation for.
But again, it would not cost you too much money, guys.
He won't.
You know why? He's 32 years old next year, Michael.
Yeah, but Giordano's going to be 37 or 38.
Yeah, 38. But my point, if you resign him, he's not going to cost you $7-8 million. He's going to be about $4, $5, $6 million max over there. You can sign him for 4 years, and that will satisfy your second pair of defensemen. Then you're losing Nucivara, of course, and then of course Montour is 3 years over there. But that will satisfy your defenseman for sure.
All right. So going back to our friends in Toronto, what do you give Kyle Dubas as a rating?
But last year in our tap, the problem with the price was higher because he was only at 3.7, and then Nashville have him for 1 more year, and that's the reason Detroit ran Ellis. Can they resign him? That's possible. Can he make he's still in the plan for them? That's possible. A lot of people predict Nashville have a good year. Me, it's one of my team. It's one of the team I predict they're going to be down this year. It's a go down great for the upcoming season. I don't see them to be better. I don't see them make the playoff. I see Dallas going to be over them all the way this year. Chicago is going to be over them all the way this year. Could be wrong, but that's what I see right now at that moment.
All right. So what rating do you give Kyle Dubas?
So again?
What rating do you give Kyle Dubas?
I cannot give him a B. I'll go with C.
Yeah.
The reason why I see this, Michael, is because he lost Hyman.
Yeah.
He lost Hyman. He lost Anderson. And he did not fix what he's missing. So he patched a lot with players, they hope. And sometimes in hockey, hope it does not work.
It does not work.
You know what I mean? I hope, Michael, you can do a good job behind the bench, but at the end of the day, you don't know, right?
Yeah. I mean, in some ways, he's locked up his young stars, and I get that. I think they're overpaid for the point they're at in their career. Even you look at some of these other contracts, they've won nothing. They've proven nothing. So for me, I got to give it like a C+ because I think he's done a good job of bringing in prospects despite not having draft picks, and he has locked up these players, but he's dancing around the problem. And now he's at risk of losing Morgan Riley if he doesn't do something. He's going to have to move out someone. So I think there's a lot to be desired here. And you're right. Like, there's such a weird psychosis in Toronto. This is a good young NHL executive. He's getting good advice and he had good mentorship, but he could be gone.
Unfortunately, it could happen about that one because the pressure over there. Michael, I want to talk about this, and I want you to answer because the people talk about this in the chat. Barkov, or I don't know if you can go all the way up over there.
Yeah.
So I don't know what he's
Point is better than Barkov.
Point is bigger or better at Barkov. What do you think about that?
I mean, he's definitely proven he can lead a team to championships. He is such an impactful player. Physically, you don't go, oh, this guy's 6'3" and this guy's 5'10" and we'll go with the 6'3" guy. But Braden Point is like so underrated. Like, he is a killer. And he's been a killer.
Now you said a good word. This is great what you said that. I like that question, first of all. It's a great comment. We talk about how people bring a lot of knowledge when they bring question or something like that. It's a great, we can talk about this for 30 minutes. But I'll be honest with you, Michael. For me, Barkov is better to Point or overall. A better two-way center is a second-round pick or whatever it is. He is a great hockey player on overall. But Point is underrated, all right? And he bring a lot and the team. And he was a 4-round pick, I believe. Everything like that is a 5'10" over there. He have a stick angling is great. Everything like that. Overall, Barkov is better. But you cannot deny Point is not good. We talk about two players like, tell me about, is it Ovechkin better to Crosby? We talk about the best of the best right now. So both team players are great, Michael. It's just me and my book. I would take Barkov, a bigger center. You need a bigger center at the line, usually a 6'4", 6'5". If you do that, I think overall Barkov in my book is better and versus Point.
I don't think so. Michael says Barkov has size. I think that's the only thing he has over Braden Point, because he doesn't have hockey IQ over Braden Point. I don't think he has leadership over Braden Point. And I don't think he has discipline over Braden Point.
Yes, Michael.
I don't think so at all.
Braden Point because the role of Barkov, Michael, and the room and Montreal with the Panthers, he's a leader. The Point is not a leader over there. You have the McDonough over there. You have other players carry on that leadership.
I don't think so. I think that Point is absolutely a leader on that team, and he shows it, and he wins them games. And
he's talking about the leadership, not the way they play. It's the way they conduct of ice and the locker room. That's what he's talking about. I'm talking about that leadership.
So I think if you're a general manager, you obviously go, hey, I would take Barkov over Point. That's the easy choice. But if you look at their resume and you look at the body of work and you look at game in, game out, who impacts a game, it's Point. And in the playoffs. Like, this guy easily could have won a Conn Smythe.
But why he did not win the Conn Smythe?
Who did win the Conn Smythe? Was it Hedman?
Sharaf. Vasilevsky this year.
See, they have so many pieces, right?
Well, that's my point, Michael. That's what I want to mention. Barkov, we have not many pieces to be a leader, and Point is a part of the piece of the pie to be a leader. I understand on what he brings on the ice, and the speed and the stick angling I think is amazing. It's cut back. It's great to see him. His IQ, I think he have an amazing. I think if you don't give him IQ, we are wrong here, because his sense of C player on the ice, Michael, is unbelievable. I think he's better at Kusharov. His IQ on the ice.
Point?
Yeah.
No,
Point.
This is the thing, Pierre, because we all look at the Kucherovs, the Stamkoses, we look at those elite players and we say, well, he's got all the support. Yes. What did Stamkos do in the playoffs? Absolutely nothing again. Like, it's on and off, but the guy that's always there is Point. Like, Braden Point has been the one consistent piece. And
the only thing Point did not do, Michael, this playoff, he disappeared after game number 2 against Montreal. He had 14 goals, and after that, he stopped about that. But that's not change where he played. But my point, he did not produce like everything like that. I think Stamkos is 32 years old, but for me, it's like Point is an amazing, great hockey player.
He really is.
for me, he's underrated.
Very underrated.
But just for me, if I want to build a team, I would start with Barkov before Point.
That's what I said. Like, I think if you're a general manager, the easy choice is Barkov.
Yeah, absolutely right.
It's like, this guy's 6'3", he plays 200 feet, he's a good corporate citizen. Like, he's a talented player, he's got high hockey IQ. But if you're really astute, the way, like, think of where they drafted Barkov versus Point.
But Michael, if you are GM right now and you have Barkov and then you sign Point, you're a genius. You want to
exactly.
beat Lula Mariano next year.
Yeah, I think they're both great players, but it's pretty hard to downplay what Point's done the last 3 years. Anyways, all right, so let's look quickly. We have about 10 minutes, Pierre. Looking at Chicago, this team has had a real struggle getting into the playoffs. They made it 2 years ago, but that was only because they expanded the playoffs. They knocked off Edmonton. I think on some level, Stan Bowman's done a good job of bringing in pieces that have performed out of nowhere. Like, the Brinkat was a late-round draft pick. Kubalik came from Czech. I like some of the moves he made in the offseason. We saw Suter play well last year for them. We saw Kurashev play well for them last year. This is another case, though, and I like the draft of Kirby Dach. Like, I think that's going to turn out amazing for them. He's been aggressive in the offseason and bringing in Seth Jones to try to change the outlook of this defense. But, he moved out Duncan Keith, and he did it without retaining any salary, Pierre. But the goaltending, finally he's got a legit goaltender. Overall, though, this is a team that won 3 Stanley Cups, I think.
Yeah, they won the Stanley Cup. It was funny you talk about this because I'm right there right now watching what he did, what he did not do well, everything like that, right? Is a team, Michael, did very well. And that's a part of what they are. They struggled a lot, Michael, from 93, 94 until 2005 and 6.
Yep.
And they pick up the Jonathan Tow. And that's the will, right? And okay, and NHL, that's the will. Los Angeles Kings are at the same boat right now after they win 2 times the Stanley Cup. But since 2010, Michael, the second decade of the 21st century, Chicago is the best team in NHL from 2009 or 10 until 14, 15. That was amazing. And then after that, they lost back-to-back with John Canville, everything like that. I think Bowman, for the last 18 months, he's decided to rebuild, but not to cut everybody right away. So he removed piece by piece the ages out, right? And then the salary cap hit him in 2015, 16 after that. But I think he keep the heart of the team still there with Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane over there. Keith is just out. But when he started to get out of Grafford 2 years ago, that you can see it was really believed. What I like, Michael, he shift very quickly the team right now and not be scared to trade those guys and they get a little bit better. I think that's for me this year. He make a big impact. Would be interesting to see Chicago if Jonathan Toews can play the level he's supposed to play. That team, Michael, is going to be really interesting. From the team number 25, 27, it'll be that the team's going to jump right now, maybe or below 20, 18 in NHL for the upcoming season.
I mean, I think this is going to be, hey, can Fleury upgrade the goaltending enough and mentor a young Finnish goalie so that they get in the top 15? And I think that's very logical that it would happen. I don't love the defense overall, but you've got to say, hey, they never had a Seth Jones last year. So if he's going to be on the hot seat a little bit, but he's capable of logging big minutes. So that's definitely an upgrade. He's still dealing with injury-prone Calvin DeHaan. Jake McCabe missed time last year. Conor Murphy is a weird number 4. He's a big defenseman, doesn't get a lot of points, but he's reliable one-on-one. I think Caleb Jones and Wyatt Kalynuk, if that's your 5 and 6, you might have a problem.
Well, here's the problem you have right now. Okay, they're missing right now a defenseman number 2, Michael.
They're missing 2, 3.
No, 3 and 4 is great. Jake McCabe, Michael, is good defenseman.
But he's been injured last
year.
That's
the way, but you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what, you know what I mean? We can go with Rentar and Anderson and everything like that. But my point, they are a good 3 and 4 over there. It's not bad allowed for me. I'm scared about Kalynuk over there. I think they should get a Jason Demers or a guy like him to pick it up there. But that's not fix the problem. Defense number 2, where I believe that's a big hole they have over there. I don't know they have a prospect at the bottom they can get over there. That's what I believe that's the problem they have right now. But look, for what they got last year, and then unfortunately they have to give Vis over there. Michael, I predict this. They're going to have so much regrets to what they gave for Seth Jones. It would be painful to watch after year number 4 over there.
I agree.
Remember, I'm going to tell you this again. I repeat. Seth Jones won the worst contract they did in my book over there.
Well, they gave up one player that's really going to hurt them. And people don't understand that Adam Bachvest has played 76 NHL games. He's got 29 points. And he's just getting started. He's a right shot defenseman. He wasn't even getting on the top power play unit in Chicago, and he's going to get that opportunity to play top, at least the second power play unit, but maybe the top power play unit in Columbus. And you're going to find out this guy is an elite young defenseman. And when he was drafted, we were like, this guy's so smart and he's so good. He's not physically big, but he's really difficult to play against, and his hockey IQ is very high. So I think they're going to regret this because Seth Jones is good and he's athletic, but you look at his offensive production, it ain't much above this.
But Michael, I would say on the defense side, Michael, and I think you will understand because you know hockey very well.
Yeah.
You send Bowman right now, right? And you have Jonathan Toews, you have Patrick Kane.
Yeah.
I don't know, another older player, like they bring Cat and everything like that, right? And you know the door is going to be closed in the next 2-3 years.
Well, it's the two players really. It's just Kane and Taves because DeBrincat's 23, Kubalik's 25, but these are not,
But my point is like, what do you think is now? He said, you know what? I'm going to get and try to get another push before they're out in the next 3 years to get Fleury and to get Zed John, to get maybe another one. So you know what? I'm going to try it, and then after that, I'm going to release over there, and then I'm going to rebuild from the bottom. I think that's the way I feel like Stan Bowman did those situations. Because if you say, you know what, I'm not going to change my philosophy to rebuild and keep them, I think he will keep Povis for sure about that one. Fleury is a gift anyway, so it's not a big deal. But I think that was said about that one over there. But I think overall, I don't like that trade, to be honest with you. For that one over there, I like Caleb Jones because honestly, you open up more money. That's the way you get Fleury
for sure.
So I think it's good, but I do not like for that one. Frank Salazar in the house. Welcome, buddy.
Intertap says it. Too many holes in the Chicago team. I think the defense is not great, but you're right. They're trying to make it. They're trying to retool fast enough with these two giant salaries in the middle. And they've done a good job on the forwards. And I think Fleury will help solidify the net for the short term.
Michael, they bring Kabulik, Strome.
They're young.
Angel, Buckstrom, Godet,
Doc,
Kurashev, and Nylander. So I'm talking about 8 forward, Michael, under 25 years old.
Right, exactly.
So when you say about old, that's normal. But you know what? The old you have, they are a good hold for them to step up and to have a good turnover the next 3 years after that.
I don't think the hole's on forward, Pierre. I think the holes are on D for sure.
That's the D problem. Yeah, of course. Now, I'm calling about the old, like too many holes he's talking about, so I won't be sure about overall. It makes sense, but I think that's what they have to get there over there as defense. Can you check on? I was looking for the prospect on the bottom.
Oh, the prospects?
Yeah, if they have a defenseman or they have something prospect over there. I think, Michael, what they miss for me, I think they should sign Ryan Murray, Michael.
Isn't Ryan Murray already signed?
He signed with Colorado.
Yeah.
But I think, to add one more year, something like that. No, I would not be surprised if I was them to try to get Vatanen in. But they don't have enough money.
They have no room, so they're going to have to pull. They have nobody coming up here. They have
Baudin.
That's kind of it.
Baudin and Michel played last season.
Yeah, Baudin is good. I like Baudin.
Baudin is really, I like that one over there for sure. Over there.
Yeah. But he's an offensive small defenseman, though.
Yeah. No, I think Baudin will be part of the lineup over there, Michael.
I think so. I think he will be. So I don't know. We got to wrap up, I guess. But what rating do you? So if you look at, I don't know how you rate Stan Bowman because the guy's won 3 Stanley Cups.
Well, yeah, of course, you belong the longevity, right? But Sen is there. Maybe. I'll be honest with you. I would give him a B.
Since the beginning. Yeah, and it would have been an A+ for a long time.
Yeah.
And I think, the last 2 years have been rough, right? Like, so the question will be, is this enough to make them contenders again? And
I agree with you, Sam. I think with Fleury, that increased their level. Listen, Michael, they played without a goaltender last year. They played with the defenseman not too great, and they play with an offensive forward not too great without Dak and Jonathan Toews. And for about 30 games, the first 30 games in NHL, it was maybe the top 10 team in NHL.
Yeah, because they were getting pretty good goaltending from a new goalie. Once the NHL figured him out, then things dropped. But they've got lots of they did it without Kirby Dach too, and I believe firmly Kirby Dach is going to be a number 1 center in this league. If he's a number 2, you're underachieving.
And the reason in our tap C+ is a good note. I will tell you what my reason I go to B in our tap. I'm including all the way they won the Stanley Cup in 2010. That's the reason I go to B. But if you talk about the last 5 years, a C, that's it. That's not much because But again, they pick a couple of great players. I like what they did. But as again, in NHL, Michael, is a will. Look about Tampa Bay in the next 2 years. the wheel going to restart also with them. Stanko will be out, right? Those guys will be older. And that's the part when the team, they rebuild and the prospect, look, Pittsburgh. And next year, Michael, they're going to go at the bottom. They have to rebuild again. This will be old. Washington is a team. I'm talking about team win the Stanley Cup the last couple of years, Michael. Yeah. At some point, you have to rebuild. You have to go at the bottom. You have to turn the wheel all the time.
Yeah, I think, and that's why we were saying, like, if you rate him all time, at one point, the guy was an A+ because he won 3 Stanley Cups. And then he signed these 2 giant contracts, had to give up so many players in between. So it's just been a tough process. I think they've got opportunity now, but it's going to be like a balancing act. Patrick Kane's still at the top of his powers. Seth Jones can play with these types of guys, and he's never played with anyone like Patrick Kane before. So I think that, that'll help. And we'll see. Does that impact his numbers? Maybe, right? Like, it might give him a little more offense, but he's not a big shooter.
Backstrom is someone I'm looking forward there. Can go there and Guerra step up. That will be interesting about that one over there. Tyler Johnson, I think he's going to be not too bad. Better what we think because he have a time to play now. He's not going to play 11, 12 minutes per game. The guy's going to get 15 minutes per game. I would never be surprised he scored 15, 20 goals, Michael, at the end of the year.
I think he scores 20, 25.
He's going to be maybe a regular power play also.
And he's not that in Tampa. He's been playing on the 4th line, Pierre. Like, why would you – like, any team would go – this guy can play all 3 forward positions. He's got offensive talent.
I like the comment that Rossi said, if Fleury get hurt, Chicago is screwed. But you can go like this everywhere. Every team, you can say that over there. You know what I mean? Like, most of the time, that's what I said earlier. It's good to have 2 good tender, Michael. I think Lincoln would be good backup number 2, right? But he cannot carry on the load like he did. You show up the second part of the season, he struggled a lot. And that's why I'd be curious to see him for that. NHL in the house. And we are also Froze Bidden Canadian boy in the house this morning. And we're just missing Canadian Jen earlier, Michael, from Westmont, Canada. Don't forget, guys, to click on the like. That'd be awesome. If you have a chance to click on the likes before you leave, that'd be appreciated. And don't forget, we have a show tonight, 9 o'clock. And every morning, Michael, 6 a.m., we have the pool on the community. You can join. You can click on it. You can join now to get a membership with us. You have friend price to get this. And finally, of course, we have the show at 9 o'clock p.m. And we have video every single day. We're going to get about Sam Reinhart signature. It will be up about 3, 4 o'clock. And also, we have at 7 o'clock p.m. every night, the hockey news, NHL on the 1 minute rhythm. All the news happening in NHL is on the YouTube channel, of course, everywhere else on the social media. So when you think about what we produce, Michael, no reason we cannot become with 10,000 subscribers one day, and we need more viewers. That's maybe the problem we get right now. We don't have new viewers enough, but overall, cannot say we don't produce content. We do content.
Yeah. I don't think Brett Connolly and Dylan Strome are long-term players for Chicago. I think they might even be gone this year.
It's unfortunately a 35-1 hurt Chicago at that moment over there. Certainly, I don't see Brett Connolly. The good thing about this, Michael, only the good news, he's still 29 years old. So Kenny can come back like he was, like he scored 20 goals a couple of years ago. Michael. I don't expect too much about him. What I'm looking for me, that team is 2 players. I really see what Dylan Strome and Backstrom can do for that team. And Kirby Dak, what kind of player? He's still 20 years old, Michael. We have to be patient with him. Look, Khrushchev, 21. And then, so we did not talk about Nylander at all. I don't say Nylander is going to be a big top 6. But Nylander can play in NHL, Michael. He can score 10, 15 goals. So this team guy, Michael, I'm excited about to watch next year.
So they made, this is an interesting actually point because one, Brett Connolly can score goals, but he's not a very good skater and he's not a great 2-way player. And that's been the problem with him in the NHL. So he can be young, but he doesn't play like a young man. Like he doesn't play with energy. And that's been the issue of why he hasn't stuck around. Because otherwise, if you're Florida, why don't you keep this guy? You know he can score 20 goals and maybe from the 3rd line. The other guy that we talked about is Borgstrom. I think he's got the ability to be a good 3rd line center. And I think he's got good size and skill, and he should carve out a spot here. Kirby Dach should be a number 1 center at some point. Worst case, he's a number 2 right now. He's big. He's got skill. He wants to be a leader. He's got a lot of qualities that Jonathan Toews has from a leadership point of view. So that's their upside. Nylander is like a lowercase version of his brother. He's got all the talent in the world. He does not play well two ways. He's like a black hole on his side of the ice. He turns over the puck in really bad ways. It's like they took their father and cloned it twice, which they did. So I don't know. He has the ability to be offensively productive, and he can play with very talented players. But you can't trust the guy game to game, and I don't know if that's ever going to change. They traded a pretty good defenseman to get this guy in Jokiharju, but Jokiharju was another Finnish player, and there was something about Jokiharju's personality that didn't sit well. And we keep seeing that with Finnish players. It's kind of unfortunate, but Jokiharju is he played very well for this team, and he would actually probably be a better fit right now, I think, than Nylander, personality issues aside.
I agree with you about that one over there for sure.
Yeah, Nylander's ready for next season. Listen, I think he can get 15, 20 goals, but he has all these other detractions. So that's the issue, and that's why he hasn't signed a contract. The guy's father is his agent, Pierre, and his father was a difficult guy. His father was the agent for his brother, and we know what happened with that. So I don't know. I'm not sure Nylander will be there long term.
I just want to mention any other news in NHL. I just have the time to watching everything's going around here. The only thing, signature again, we just run to resume is the Edmonton Oilers signed today. Slater, Coco or Coco, whatever you call him. Honestly, at $925,000 for this first year, Michael. Yeah, so that's pretty much what they have signed. I think it's good for them to get him back. I think it's good about that one over there. Just want to mention that.
He's a good number 5'6". So going to watch the replay. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Afros. Have a great day, NHL. And everybody else, did you see what came out this week on the player that today visit the player of the past at the age 50? The player today have more body problem, they age faster. I'm not sure about that.
I think it's because NHLers didn't live. I mean, it's a hard sport on your body, man. Hockey players always have hip problems, knee problems in their retirement. You can see they have trouble walking. It's a tough sport on your body, especially your.
The only thing, Michael, I will say something. The younger player compared to 50 player right now in NHL older, they are more rich.
They are, and I think that the training also, if you look at a physical point of view, is more scientific. So number one, you're right. They can afford to have better treatment. We see guys getting proper treatment of knee injuries. Like it used to be, if you got a knee injury in the NHL, Pierre, you were done.
They start younger, Michael, but they finish younger too compared was before. You have a lot of players, Michael, finish their career after 35 years old and 40 years old. You're not going to see this anymore at 34, 33, 35, 36. A lot of players going to be retired, 38 max, because they make their money at early age, Michael.
Good morning, Dan Asham. Thanks for joining
us. And directly from Winnipeg. Welcome aboard.
Much more.
Don't forget to click on the likes. You still have only 16 likes. Some of you did not click on the likes. Homework.
Do you think that Austin Matthews and Connor McDavid win a cup in their career?
Yes.
Really? I am absolutely not convinced of it.
Yep. Same question you asked, Michael. Do you think 7-8 years ago, Ovechkin is going to win the Stanley Cup? And your answer will be exactly what you think right now about them.
You got lucky once?
No, but my point is like, if you think 7-8 years ago, right? And my point is like, you're going to tell me the same thing about Ovechkin because I would be skeptical myself too.
Well, I think the reality of Ovechkin is it's not a myth. It's a fact that, they have a weird culture in that team, and they've always had talent, but they never really, applied themselves. And they applied themselves for 1 year, and then that's it. That'll be the end of it. They had a great coach. The coach saw it on the wall and left.
The reason they win, Michael, is not because all the play was also the structure behind the bench.
That's what I said. The coach, right? The coach saw the writing on the wall and said, these guys are never going to commit to this again.
That's the only reason they win. It could be any other coach, Michael, they will not win.
So I think McDavid could, but Edmonton is yet to show that they have a similar problem to Toronto, Pierre. They've paid guys, and they have a lot of holes that have been filled by bad contracts, and they've made some bad decisions, and it hurts them. Like,
yeah, I would just change my answer, Michael. When I read this, I thought it was like one of the two would win the Stanley Cup. So I don't know both will win, but my point, my answer was more about one of the two will win the Stanley Cup. I'm sorry about my answer was that way.
But I don't think it's not like, this is where it gets complicated, right? Because to get there, very few teams win the cup. And when they figure it out, sometimes they win too. We've seen it with Tampa, Chicago, LA. And I think and even Pittsburgh, right? Like it's like, oh, we figured it out. We're going to do it again. And everyone else is in the dark. And the difference is the depth of the lineup and the leadership on those teams and staying healthy, or, fighting through the injuries. And it's really, really, really tough. So to Pierre's point, longevity might be in their favor, but you've already blown 7 years of Connor McDavid's career.
I agree with Michael about Price to Ronnie. I don't think so. Carey Price going to win the Stanley Cup.
That's it.
It was a chance. It was this year. I don't see that will happening with the Montreal Canadiens. I would not be surprised he get traded the next 2 years to a team they are eventually to have a chance to win the Stanley Cup. And maybe the Montreal going to buy out, or they're going to retaining the money to get this. This would be a possibility for him, and I think could happen. I think when you go to see Shea Weber leaving, the Carey Price, the next one over there. Nothing against him. It's just that the way the salary cap is doing right now, Michael, the way they build the team, they have no choice. They build what Marc-Andre Fleury did happening right now.
I think so, because I think that if you are Carey Price and you go to Colorado, you might be the difference there.
Yep.
Or you go to Edmonton, who knows? You might be the difference in Edmonton.
If Michael Price is Edmonton, that gave about a 10%, 20% better chance to Edmonton win the Stanley Cup.
Right. And that might be enough, but it might not. But I think Colorado, like, he's going to put Colorado over the top.
The window in Colorado, Michael, is getting closer and closer.
Well, they're going to have problems soon because they got to sign McKinnon.
That's the point.
So
now they still have enough money because they still have. And Michael, the point here, if you want to do this, Michael, you have to be sure that your goaltender is not over $6 million. If not, you have a problem.
Maybe.
Because you have too much. You have your defenseman to pay. You have the forward to pay. If you have better to put your money on the forward, I put your money on the goaltender at $8, $9, $10 million. At least is an exception like Vasilevsky. But Vasilevsky is still at $8 million, 25. And then Edebach is at 6 point something money in between that.
Like Vasilevsky for sure is getting 9, right? So 9.5.
9.5, yeah. But again, Michael, you're not going to have it's rare a goaltender like Vasilevsky. Like, my point is, like, you can get goaltender like Crawford and Quick and those Bennington, not an elite, but a great goaltender at lower money can carry on your team all the way to win the Stanley Cup.
Yep. Agreed. But if I'm Colorado, I seriously think of how do I get Carey Price here for cheap? Like, you guys retain some salary. I give you a player that.
The problem, Michael, is not still too young to get that kind of weight. I think you have to wait 2 years before happening. And it would be too late for Colorado at that moment.
They have to do it now.
Yep.
They would have to give up a piece like.
And the problem of money, as you said, they have to pay him, McKinnon. And then after that, you're going to have pay another one, and then you can fill out.
I think Montreal would have to retain.
The only thing is good, Colorado, Michael, the prospect defenseman is strong, and that helping the Byron and Biram. We don't talk about that. And talk about 2 defensemen can be a top 4.
Right. So if you are Colorado and you think, listen, we got one shot at this, we think we're right there. Do you go, hey, Montreal, you keep 50% of the salary. We'll send you Bo Byram? Well, they got another guy, Justin Barron.
Yep.
Right? Do you take a Justin Barron or a Bo Byram if you're Montreal and you retain $4 or $5 million? And that's what the negotiation would be. And then it
Montreal, we asked them to get. Honestly, if I was Montreal, I would request for Samuel Girard.
Yeah, he's still
because what he's missing, Michael, they're missing a puck mover.
That's why I think Byram would be the guy, but
he's too young yet. Now that will give you another 2 years waiting for him to develop. You have already Girard 5 years in NHL. I think it would be more benefit. He have 5 years contract at $5 million. It's a great contract to Montreal to get because you're going to tell, look, I'm keep X dollars from Bryce to be your goaltender.
Right.
Give me a break. Give me a guy I can suck it up.
I might
at
do
$5
that.
million. I don't have to pay someone at $8 million, and he's really what we need right now.
Yeah, and now you got Darcy Kemper and Carey Price in net. You got Cal McCarr, Eric Johnson, Devin Taves, Ryan Murray, Bo Byram on D, and maybe Justin Barron, right? Like Justin Barron's probably not that far out. If Justin Barron's healthy, he could probably make the NHL pretty soon. So you think about it if you're Colorado.
It's something you should look about this for sure. I don't see Price and Florida. They don't need him anyway. It's not a big deal about that one over there. Price, at least, I don't know if he leave. Of course, I'm talking about one specific. He would ask a draft pick for something else. But the fact is, I think it's a win-win situation for both teams.
Yep, I agree. All right, Pierre. Have to go do some work today. Thank you for joining us.
That's a little bit of time anyway. Thank you so much for everybody to be here this morning. Thanks again. Don't forget to click on the likes. Yeah, no reason you cannot click on the likes. And we wish you an amazing, great Thursday. I look forward to see you tonight, 9 o'clock for the Power Play Show. Thank you, Michael. Have an amazing, great Thursday, everybody.